from the local station. This is Weather Authority Weekday.
All right, well, good Monday morning, everyone. Meteorologist Chris Holtzman here. It's time for our Weather Authority Weekday stream, and I will be talking about local weather and national weather. Certainly a lot to talk about, but first of which, pretty comfortable out there right now already. Now, it was a bit of a chilly start as we're taking a live look outside over Jacksonville. For the most part, we are tracking again across the region. What we're seeing generally temperatures in the 30s and 40s across our area, and we are looking at those temperatures generally back to right around 40 or so as we head into the late morning, early afternoon. Now let's take a live look right now, though. We'll put the camera full, and we do have that sunshine across the area. And one thing to note as well that we're looking at is certainly the sunshine will persist over the next couple of hours, and we'll keep a few clouds around, but overall what we are looking at, once again, those temperatures to be very comfortable in the 30s and 40s across the region. So we do have those temperatures near 40. We'll be right back in just a minute, and I'll be back with your local and national forecast. Back, everyone. Well, let's take a look at the weather across our region. And by the way, as I was saying, it was a bit chilly out there this morning. Temperatures in the 30s and 40s across our region, so a bit of a chilly start. But even yesterday morning, we had temperatures below freezing, but the warming trend will continue as we head into the upcoming week. So let's take a live look right now over downtown Jacksonville. We are tracking plenty of sunshine overhead. We have an area of high pressure that promotes what we call sinking air, and that means there's no moisture. It's just very dry. We had some clouds early this morning, but again, temperatures already up into the 60s. It certainly feels very nice out there with that sunshine around. And as we take a live look at St. Augustine, tracking more of that, a couple of folks there on the beach as we're taking a live look at Jacksonville Beach, showing that sunshine around, but water temperatures are quite chilly right now. After all, those colder temperatures certainly allow the water temperature to drop. And a live look here in Mayport, we're still tracking that northeasterly wind. You can see the flag blowing, and that direction is a northeasterly to even an easterly wind. That's an onshore wind, which will actually allow the coast to be just a bit cooler for the day today. A temperature there of 60 degrees. So we are tracking 60s around Jacksonville International, looking at sunshine as well. And we are looking at a temperature at the airport of 64 degrees. So let's break down our setup that we have. High pressures to our north. Remember, air around high pressure spins like a clock. So because we're south of that high, we are getting that easterly wind, and that is allowing for, once again, the coast to be just a bit cooler like we saw yesterday. Temperatures, though, right now we are looking at 60 in Mayport, at 65 in Green Cove Springs. Palatka's reporting 62, 63 in Lake City. Up into Georgia, we're in the upper 50s in Waycross. We have Brunswick at 59. St. Mary's reporting 61, but again, wind is not an issue across our area. We are looking at generally a very light wind, under about 10 miles per hour. So through the next couple of hours, look for those temperatures into the afternoon to top out in the mid to upper 60s, even many spots right around 70. Many of us will touch 70, and we are looking at plenty of sunshine for the day. So here's a breakdown of your forecast again along the coast where those water temperatures are a bit cooler. We are looking at temperatures into the 60s, but inland we are looking at temperatures generally into the upper 60s to low 70s across our area. So a very comfortable day. Average highs around 66, and many of us will be above that into the afternoon. Futurecast, by the way, shows, you can see that southerly flow will start to move in by the early part of the day on Tuesday. And then there's those clouds starting out the day Tuesday. There might even be a little bit of fog, so just be aware of that. With temperatures overnight tonight in the 40s, so we're safely above freezing across our area. Quite a change from last week and even the week before, where we had 8 consecutive days at the airport at or even below freezing, which tied the second most on record for that time period. But temperatures once again tonight will be right around 40. But look at these numbers for tomorrow. Yeah, comfortable out there, right? 70s to right around, we'll say 75 to 78 or so inland. Along the coast, low to even mid-70s. So a beautiful day if you're going to be outside with sunshine and pleasant temperatures. We'll start out the day with some clouds, and then sunshine returns by the afternoon. But again, we're not expecting any rain across our area. But we do need to talk about the drought. Again, we need the rain out there. That latest outlook, which is released every Thursday, introduced a extreme drought for most of Columbia County, Baker, Union, Bradford, Alachua counties, western Clay, and also western Putnam, and even into Georgia. You see northern Ware and Pierce counties under that extreme drought. The rest of our area under a severe drought. And that continues to expand because, again, if you keep in mind, we're already a foot of rain in deficit from late August to now. Just going back even before August, we're still tracking that deficit, so even higher numbers. In fact, many spots are over 15 inches of rain in deficit going back the past 365 days. So that's the past year, not including January of this year, all the way back to last year. And even along the coast, those deficits are up there. So again, the rain is needed. The issue is that there's really not much in the forecast. In fact, look at the rainfall forecast over the next 7 days. The bulk of the rain will be across the Carolinas into Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. Now here in Florida, we do run the risk for a few showers, and this is likely later in the week, but certainly not enough to put a dent in the drought. But what we'll be looking at, again, today's forecast, that high is generally offshore. It sinks a little bit more to the south. There will be a front that will arrive by Wednesday, and a couple of spotty showers will be possible. Not expecting widespread rain, though. Again, most of that rain to our north, but that front clears, high pressure builds in, and temperatures are on the way up. We start to get a southerly wind, and that'll bring up those temperatures by Thursday and even into Friday. By the way, looking at our temperature outlook for the at least the next week or two, large area of the country now expecting above normal temperatures. At least we have a near normal, just above chance. It's not super high, but again, compared to where we were over the past couple of weeks with that large area below normal temperatures, it's been quite some time since we've seen that. And factoring in the precipitation or the rainfall outlook, well, look at that. We do have just a slight chance of above normal rainfall. Better chance generally across portions of the southeast. But again, we'll take anything we can get across our region. So breaking down our 7-day forecast, we are looking at sunshine. Some patchy fog will be possible as we head into Tuesday morning. But those overnight lows for Tuesday in the morning in the 40s, 77 for a high temperature. And then as we head through the remainder of the forecast, we are tracking a mix of sun and clouds. Temperatures by Wednesday in the 70s, slight chance for a couple of showers later in the week with highs by Thursday in the low 70s, 73 on Friday, and we'll stay in the low to even mid 70s over the weekend. And overnight lows, well, look at that. Certainly seeing a change there with no 30s in sight widespread. We're looking at 50s for the most part over the upcoming week, with daytime highs in the 70s. So let's look at the weather across our local area. What about the state and beyond? I'll be back after the short break with the latest forecast. Back, everyone. Well, let's take a look at the weather across the country because, believe it or not, it's been very cold just to our north. Look at those temperatures up into the northeast, including the mid-Atlantic, New England. DC's reporting 25. Again, these are actual temperatures. When you factor in a bit of a wind, it's much colder. New York is 19, Pittsburgh 16 degrees. And by the way, this past weekend was frigid across the northeast. In fact, New York City tried to keep residents warm in the frigid weather. Let's take a look at what happened this weekend across New York.
These bent trees aren't lying. Strong winds sending a bitter blast throughout the city.
It's freezing, but we have to make the best of it.
Joan O'Che was picking up warm food at St. Clement's Episcopal Church in Midtown. But a volunteer who goes by TT tells us during cold days like this, they're seeing fewer people come out to pick up food.
It says that there's a lot of people that we're not able to get to or that are not able to come here because of the weather. And they may be going without food, and that is a big concern.
For people like us, this is like a relief, great relief for us.
Also supplying relief are the warming buses and centers across the city, which Mayor Mamdani says are in more supply this time around.
I've never seen nothing like this before. This is amazing.
These mobile warming units are operating on what the mayor describes as a heightened capacity, increasing from 27 on Friday night to 33 by Saturday night.
Well, the warming bus is good for people that needs help in life, that's struggling, that's trying to get their housing right now.
Along with more buses, Mayor Zohran Mamdani announced the addition of at least 150 more outreach workers to get New Yorkers into newly added safe haven beds, expediting the opening of 64 new hotel shelter units in Queens and cutting the 311 wait time in half for housing insecure New Yorkers. The mayor visited firefighters on Staten Island Saturday.
Just on Staten Island, sanitation has melted more than 11 million tons of snow. This is all the work that city workers are doing in tandem with more than 550 outreach workers who are out there at all times of day to bring homeless New Yorkers inside.
City volunteers like TT also reminding New Yorkers that they aren't alone and that help is out there.
We're here to help you. Anytime, whatever you need, we're here to help you. We can do what we can.
Yeah, it is cold up there. Temperatures were only in the single digits in teens, and when you factored in the wind chill was about 20 to 25 below zero across the Northeast. By the way, the wind chill right now, if you're wondering, yeah, that is brutal out there. Look at portions of the north. Pittsburgh feeling like 10, as well as New York, Washington 18, 9 in Detroit, 21 in Chicago. But a large part of the south, at least experiencing those warmer temperatures, basically with the lack of any wind. Temperatures are exactly where they are, so 60s across the area to right around 70 degrees across a large portion of the south. Jacksonville, 61's the wind chill, basically feeling like 61, 65 in Tampa, and you see a large part of Texas there in the 60s. But again, the big story has been not only the snow potential across the south, which we've certainly seen across the Carolinas, but up into New England, it is very snowy up there. In fact, you can see some areas of interior New England. The snow depth is over about a foot to 2 feet, and it only continues to grow. In fact, believe it or not, in Vermont, they actually have a salt shortage, and that's forcing a change to snow removal as storms keep bringing snow to the area. Let's head up to the Green Mountain State with the latest information.
That's the sound communities around Vermont are hearing less and less. A salt shortage is impacting more than a dozen towns in the Green Mountain State, but winter weather shows no signs of stopping. Snowplowing companies say they are working to keep the roads safe, but without the tools they need, challenges keep cropping up.
We're honoring our contracts, but we're having to make tough choices because right now, our salt shed that we have a limited quantity left, and we're saving it for only emergencies.
The owner of Jay's Snowplowing says they saw a 46% salt price increase from last season, but he says price is only part of the problem.
It's not just a specific area. Our salt we get from all over the place. We have a primary, a secondary, and a tertiary place that we get it. Our primary and secondary are out right now. Our tertiary is a little bit further away.
Jay says he's now forced to mix in sand to make the supply last. Other companies that maintain large commercial properties say they're making adjustments too.
Supply is pretty low right now, but it's, you know, we do our best to make sure that all the chain stores are well properly sorted out.
Uzel McFarland works for Interactive Maintenance Services. And while they are not mixing in sand, he said they've had to change their plow process.
We just pay for because that way it cleans the grounds more better.
Now the state is stepping in. VTrans recently announced temporary relief for salt contractors to pause deliveries to state stockpiles, allowing them to focus on supplying towns and local customers first. In the meantime, officials are urging extra caution on the roads.
Slow down, drive below the speed limit, drive within your capabilities. And snow tires are always good, but they're not going to help in the long run. And reminding drivers to expect icy spots and plan for longer travel times while supplies remain low. In South Burlington, I'm Charlotte Hancock, NBC 5 News.
Isn't that crazy? I, of course, went to college in Vermont, so very familiar with those areas. And yeah, they've had so much snow this winter. It's just been storm after storm that eventually that salt becomes very sparse. So it's interesting to see how creative they are with different ways to remove the snow. And really the cold continues across Vermont as well, as the snow depth you can see to the north very high up there. In fact, we will be looking at eventually the next couple of months some of that thawing to occur, which eventually brings some flooding concerns to southern New England because the Connecticut River flows from north to south, and that brings all of that snow melt down to the Long Island Sound. But by the way, with all that snow on the ground, several snowmobiles gathered for a winter ride. This is pretty cool, and this is, of course, in Vermont as well. Let's take a look.
You don't come to the Old Iron Ride in Washington to stand still. You come for this. Vintage machines, modern sleds, all for a ride back in time. That for every rider, there's a why.
It's the best thing in the world.
Jackson and Hazen aren't just chasing speed. They're chasing an experience you just can't buy.
The cool thing is I can walk around here talk to anyone that I don't know, and we can pick up a conversation about pretty much anything.
Yeah, we all have like the same things. We're all here for the same reasons, and it's just a lot of fun to see all the sleds and see all the people.
But none of this happens by accident.
I know half of these people, but I couldn't tell you their names.
Meet Jim Murphy. His club spent the entire week making sure every turn, every trail was ready to go.
It's rewarding when everybody comes up and says thank you and appreciate what you do, and the trails are smooth and they love them, and so somebody's got to do it.
And each year, more people are showing up to see what it's all about, including a special stop this time by Governor Phil Scott. And then there's Tyson Bluen, president of the Washington Snow Flyers, who says the future matters just as much as the history.
We're all here for the same reason. We love snowmobiling. We don't want it to die. This is just this is an extra bonus, and this is more, this is more fun than riding on the trail in a lot of sense.
So when winter hits like this, many say this is Vermont.
Just being able to see the state in a different way, it's awesome. It's beautiful.
You might as well get out and enjoy the snow, right? If you're up there and that snow continues to pile up, they eventually have what they call mud season, and that's in the spring where all that melting occurs. And there's a significant amount of water in that snow, by the way, when it melts. But yeah, snow cover is certainly up there for the New England area. Speaking of New England and the Northeast, again, that bitterly cold air is overhead there. Temperatures are running around 25 to 35 degrees or so below normal from, say, New Hampshire all the way down to the southwest into Pennsylvania and the mid-Atlantic areas. But widespread below normal temperatures are likely all the way to the Carolinas, where highs are much lower. Now, speaking of below normal, of course, Mother Nature, we always know there's equalization here. So wherever there's cold air, there's warm air. And we have warmer air across portions of the central part of the country, over Texas, over to Oklahoma, and portions of Kansas and Nebraska. So temperatures will be above normal due to a large ridge. That's that big area of high pressure that will eventually control our weather this week. And that's what's bringing with it at least the very warm temperatures. To the north, though, we do have some rain, which we would like to see here, but we don't have any in the forecast. The system bringing moisture to the northwest with increasing rain and mountain snow potential across the Cascades there. And as we head into today, again, a large look at the country. Below normal temperatures generally across the eastern part of the country, across the central and western portions of the country. That large ridge keeping temperatures warm, but we'll get in on the action tomorrow. In fact, look at the temperature setup. As we head into tomorrow, we're looking at well above normal temperatures generally associated with that ridge. That's going to shift to the east, and that'll bring those warmer temperatures around. And as it certainly has gotten warmer, that's good news for our wildlife because it's been so cold over the past couple of weeks. In fact, 200 cold-stunned sea turtles were released here in Florida, which is great news. Let's take a look at the story.
Extreme cold temperatures took over Florida this past week.
One of the more stout cold snaps Florida has seen since about 2010 for statewide.
That cold front not only affected people, but also sea turtles.
Turtles are reptiles, which means they are cold-blooded, and so their body temperature drops. They are not able to maintain their full function, so they sort of end up floating and drifting to shore, which can cause further injuries. And if they're cold stunned for too long, they can actually have like organ failure if we're not able to rescue them.
Recently, several local organizations rescued 600 cold stunned turtles, the most they have ever rescued.
This is definitely the largest that Gulf Specimen Marine Lab has ever dealt with. In addition to the 600 sea turtles we've had here in the Panhandle, they've had more than 200 across the state in Central Florida and Tampa Bay, where they usually don't see any cold-stunned sea turtles.
On Wednesday, a historic sea turtle release took place in Cape San Blas.
Nearly 200 sea turtles were released back into the water today. These turtles were cold-stunned after Florida's low temperatures these past 2 weeks, but we're told that it only took less than 2 weeks to rehabilitate all of them.
So it's great to see them release 200. Amazing.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. I've never seen this many turtles ever in my whole life, so it's been a pretty great experience.
Rescuers quickly got the turtles warmed up in tanks at the lab, tagged, measured, and ready to swim home.
Well, that's great news, right? After that cold weather certainly impacted most of our wildlife here. By the way, turtles look like they were taking their time, but that water's a bit chilly too. That colder air that we had over the past couple of weeks, that has allowed those water temperatures to be below normal. and that is all along the Florida coast. But again, for tomorrow, we are tracking those above normal temperatures, and our temperature setup into the day tomorrow, and even the moisture setup with that warmer air overhead, rain likely across California, over to Nevada, up into Utah, and we are tracking even a mountain snow potential as well. Finally, do want to end with two more things. So our temperature setup across the area as we head into Tuesday. Again, large part of the country seeing those above normal temperatures. But over the next 3 days, a system will spread, and that'll bring rain to snow in the west coast. And to the northeast, another chance for some snow as a disturbance moves through. Some of that shower activity may try to move into our area Wednesday. Not expecting widespread activity. Most of that activity should be fairly spotty in nature, but good news, some snow is possible across the northwest and west coast where they have been below normal with that system. You can, by the way, see that system by Wednesday. As we take the graphics full, I can kind of show you. This is what we call a mid-latitude cyclone, and I'm seeing if I can, let's see. And you can see as I move my mouse, this little comma shape. So the low pressure's up here, and then the front is all the way to the south, and that's the front that's moving across our area. But again, most of the energy is to our north and east, where that area of low pressure is. But we will be looking at, again, warmer temperatures here across the south over the next few days. So a lot going on around the country, certainly tracking dry weather, which is not good news for us locally here across southeast Georgia and northeast Florida. But again, we hope to see some rain. Indications are, by the way, that an El Nino may try to develop as we head into the next couple of days. And I just want to take this as well. We had that threat for wildfires elevated due to the wind and the dry ground. In fact, as we pull up that graphic, well, I just want to go through some tips again, because while the wildfire threat might not be as high today as it was over the weekend with that wind, we certainly need to take note of some of these tips. And remember, burn bans are in effect across several counties in Florida. Most wildfires are caused by humans, so many everyday things can create sparks. So you want to keep ignition sources away from dry vegetation, wood, and other fuel. Remember, have a clear 10-foot radius around campfires. Burning brush, never leave fires unattended, and always properly extinguish. You want to use grills or smokers on a gravel or paved surfaces, and never toss lit cigarettes on the ground. Put ashes in a metal container with a tight lid. Make sure to keep water stored near campfires, fire pits, grills, smokers, burning brush, etc. And remember, maintain vehicle brakes and tires and secure tow chains to avoid dragging, and don't drive on dry grass or brush. Water your lawn, of course, and keep grass cut. And again, we have to do that because it's been so dry across our region. And make sure to mow the lawn early in the morning and when it's not windy or excessively dry. And of course, most importantly, which we're emphasizing, always follow burn bans and regulations. I wrote a weather article on that last week with several of the counties that are under these burn bans. And again, you want to take note of that. Be aware of weather conditions, low humidity, heat, drought, and winds, which are all conducive to fires across the region. So again, we had numerous reports of brush fires this weekend with that wind, and likely we'll see those conditions remain elevated over the upcoming week. So let's look at the weather across our local area and across the country. We'll be back at noon with the latest forecast. And of course, you can get your forecast on air, online, and on our weather app. I hope you have a great rest of your Monday.
See why every day more people are choosing News4JAX, Northeast Florida and South Georgia's #1 source for local news.